You like the dry wood, don't you? Yes, you do. Oh,
hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. Realist Friend here, coming at you from the chilly garage. Big week last week. Finally rode the racing mower. Pretty excited about that. I don't know if you guys remember what this thing started out as. It was pretty bad. It was pretty scary. It was pretty sketchy. But I think we've all together turned it into something pretty awesome. It's definitely far from done. I know a lot of people you asking me about this thing. It's not even close to done. So there'll be a lot more videos on this thing. So as a whole, the kart actually performed great. The engine that was given to me by a user named Truckin93, it's a 6.5 horse Honda clone. That thing performed great. The brakes supplied me by a user named T-Man Go-karts. He did a great job sending me these brakes, picking these out for me, and these things performed flawlessly. So big thanks to him. He hooked us up with an awesome set of brakes. Also want to thank V8 Mike and Fast Clones. Both of you guys were pretty helpful in the very beginning of this build. When I was first getting going, trying to help me out, deciding where I was going to go, what I was going to do, and how I was going to do it. V8 Mike was really helpful with setting up the steering and things like that. And Fast Clones has been more than helpful with engine information and stuff like that. And most of all, I'd love to thank my YouTube subscribers. Without you guys, none of this would really have happened. A lot of you know that I'm a YouTube partner. What that basically means is Google pays me to advertise my videos, and when I collect a check, basically that entire check goes back into my go-karts and lawnmowers and projects and stuff around the shop to basically help have more stuff to make more videos on for you guys. And stuff for me to ride. So big thanks to you guys. You know, share it with a friend. The more subscribers we get, the more support I get, the bigger, better things I can do. So that's definitely awesome. Thank you guys for the help. I get a lot of questions about this thing, and you know, after that last video of me riding it, which if you missed, I'll link below, I'm going to try to answer a few of those questions. But first, I want to show you some of the things I did just before I rode this thing the last time. I didn't really show you a couple little tiny things, and I'll just share them with you really quick. So the first thing I've done here actually is nothing really major, but this sharp metal edge around the guard here, around the torque converter guard. I took some of this black, I don't know what you call it, it's like an edging. You find it a lot of times around lawnmower seats, around just to hold the fabric to the seat. And I stole some of that and put it on these edges and a couple on the dashboard. The other thing I actually did, you can see right here, is actually this heat shield. And what this basically is a piece of large tube steel that I cut out a shape that was kind of the same shape as my exhaust bend here, welded some box steel pieces to it, and it attaches with hose clamps. And that's basically going to help me not melt my seat. And the thing works pretty good. You couldn't even really feel much heat on this seat after we rode it for a little while. Another thing I did here was actually make the wiring for the entire wiring harness all plug and play. It's a little dark in here, but you can see these plugs, and basically you undo all these plugs, pull the dashboard out, and there's no wires to have to mess with. Something else you may or may not see here is a piece of rubber that's actually sandwiched between my seat and the seat mounting plate, and that was just to remove a little bit of the vibrations transferred through the frame from the road, and it actually seems to work pretty good. It was very comfortable to ride, and we were on some pretty bumpy road there. So two things that didn't actually perform exactly as I had planned on them during the initial ride of this racing lawnmower. One of them being my spring-loaded chain tensioner here. And what I basically had a problem with, and T-Man actually warned me about this, was that when you deaccelerate, that the chain will actually put downward pressure on that spring. And it did, and it pushed it down quite a bit. Not enough to rub on the bar, but enough to basically make me rethink this. But what I initially did was put this stronger spring in on the tensioner to see if that would help. So I'll try that on the next run. If that doesn't work, then I'll make like an adjustable bump stop for the bottom, so it'll limit the amount that this thing has for down travel. So something else that could have been better with the first ride is the ability to actually have reached the top speed of this thing. I don't think we were reaching top speed because we weren't reaching the maximum RPM of the engine. And I think that's due to a couple of things. One being the new bearings in the rear axle and the front wheels. And the torque converter itself has bearings built into the back of it. None of those have been broken in. The new chain, that hasn't been broken in. The engine has sort of been broken in, It was used before I got it, but you know, it's still pretty new. And the other thing is the torque converter is actually set to the #1 spring setting. So what I actually did is I went ahead and changed the spring setting over to #3, and what that basically involved was removing these cover plates, taking off the center bolt on the torque converter, then removing the C-clip, and then taking the whole assembly apart, setting the spring to the 3rd setting, and then putting the whole thing back together. And I haven't ridden it yet on the 3rd setting, but what that's supposed to do is help the engine achieve a higher RPM before the CVT actually shifts into a higher ratio. So hopefully in doing that, the engine will kind of get a head start on the speed, and it'll have more low-end power, but it'll also be able to reach its top speed. So everyone wants to know, what's next with the Racing Lawnmower Go-Kart? Well, I gotta get some more seat time on the thing just to make sure everything is absolutely okay, and if everything still checks out perfectly fine, then I'm gonna basically strip it completely back down to bare frame. Everything is gonna get taken apart, sanded down, sent off to sandblasting. It'll probably get powder coated. I will tell you the frame is most likely gonna be black, but that's still not positive. Then the hood will have to get painted and sandblasted and all that good stuff. A lot of the little parts will get sandblasted. Not going to tell you what color yet though, that's going to be a surprise. So you'll have to stay tuned for that one. So the next question I get a lot of is, how much did this thing cost me to basically get it where it is right now? And that's kind of a shaky question because a lot of things come into play. A lot of things I bought premium parts for. Some things I kind of cheaped out on. So, I mean, your build cost will vary, but I've got all my receipts right here. I got a calculator, and I'm going to do some math. So there it is. That's the total cost for me as of right now, and that's not including the initial buy of the vehicle, which was $200 for the initial purchase, which was a lot, but I took a lot of the parts off of it, built another little mini 2-stroke go-kart, which you guys saw. It was kind of neat, and I ended up selling that off for $100, so I mean you can knock $100 off of that. So yeah, there you go. $1,300 or $1,326, and that's a rough estimate. Because I rounded change up and down here and there. Now, that's not saying you can't build one for cheaper. I mean, I bought tie rods that were $20. You can buy tie rods for $10 from Northern Tool. You don't have to buy these wheels and tires. You know, maybe you already have a motor. You don't need a torque converter, which is $200. You could get a regular little clutch, which is like $50. You know, your results will vary. It won't be quite as torquey low end, and you know, I took the time and tried to do a really quality build here. But you, by all means, don't have to do that. You can cheap it out quite a bit more and it'll still be a safe vehicle. I just wouldn't do 60 miles an hour on it. So there you go. $1,300. I'm sure you could build one for probably $600 from scratch, including steel. I'm pretty confident, and maybe I'll do that some days, try to do a budget build. But first, I know a lot of you guys are wondering, what's the next project? What's it going to be? What are we going to do? Am I starting another one? Yeah, I'm starting another one. Anyone who's stuck with me for a while knows I can't not build something. So the next project is actually right beside you. You can't see it yet, but I can. And it's pretty awesome. It's not actually my project technically. It's Paul. You guys all know Paul. He doesn't have a YouTube account, but he rides with me in a lot of my old videos. And he drove that tractor without the hood on it. And we pretty much destroyed it over the course of all of our video making experiences. So in the event that he wants to go riding this spring, he doesn't have a tractor. So we're going to build him a tractor. But we're going to build him a tractor that hopefully he can't even break, which is a pretty tall order because he's a big guy and he drives hard and he drives crazy, which is what I love about him. I know it's what you guys love about him. So I want to show you this mower. It's just a mock-up right now, but I think you guys will like it. So what you're about to see is basically something Paul and I kind of came up with, just throwing ideas around, and nothing here is set in stone, but pretty much how we think we want it. And a lot of this design actually came with the inspiration of a YouTube user named Harold365. And I don't know if you guys have seen his channel or not, but if you haven't, do yourself a favor and go check it out. He does some pretty cool stuff. He's got some cool builds. Very much like the mud mower thing that I do. He's got this thing called the General, which is a lifted lawnmower tractor thing that he's putting together. And I felt very compelled to do something like that. I have a lot of you that kind of want me to do something like that. So we're going to go ahead and do something like that. Yes, that is a 5-gallon bucket with a 4x4 log on top of it. And these probably aren't the front tires that are going on it. Those are probably the rear tires. But you can see this thing is just massive. It's 36 inches to the seat. And it's just huge. I'm going to stretch the wheelbase on him so he can't flip it over. We got to figure out the front end, obviously. That's not the way it's going to go. But yeah, this old Toro lawnmower with the C-channel frame. We ripped the hydrostatic trans out. We stripped down the frame for the most part. And this is what we've got so far. I think this thing is going to be pretty freaking boss. We're basically thinking straight axle in the back. We're going to use this Peerless 3-speed transmission. And we're going to run 1 1/4 inch axle out the back to his old wheels and tires from his old tractor, which by the way are 25 by 10. And yeah, we're going to run his old 14 horse engine, the OHV, over there. And basically make it a working machine. Reinforce what we need to and just keep it light and keep it crazy. So yeah, that's the future of Fearless Front right now. We're going to build a giant mud monster mower. So I know a lot of people are probably going to be really excited about this. So basically, you know, tell me what you think in the comments. What do you guys want to see? We're open to suggestions. Nothing too out of control, crazy. We want to keep it light. We want to keep it fast. Yeah, just let us know what you think. We're open to ideas. Be sure to check out my man Harold365's channel. You know, he's got some cool shit on there you guys should check out. Cool stuff that he's building. And, you know, rate the video up or down if you think these are good or bad ideas. Look for more racing mower updates here in the future. Anything I tweak or modify or, you know, any rides or anything I take it on, you know, I'll keep you guys updated and informed on that. But that's pretty much it for the video. It's cold as a bastard out here and I'm going to go in the house, edit some video for a while, and we'll see you next week.